Now I want to explain Unit 3. I want to explain the Unit 3. The Unit 3 is decision making and looping statements. So before going into this Unit 3, I want to give a brief on Unit 1 and Unit 2. I want to explain a brief on chapter 1, that is Unit 1 and Unit 2. So we have learned in the Unit 1 problem solving steps. We have learned in the Unit 1, that is problem solving steps and algorithms, flowcharts, algorithms, flowcharts, and the differences between this algorithm and flowchart, and what are the different types of languages. In that, low level language, high level language. The low level language is again two types: assembly language and machine language. Assembly language and machine language. That is in the first chapter, and with that we have seen some programs, and that is how to, what are the steps involved for executing a C program. We have seen step by step writing a C program, compiling it, executing it, and viewing the output, and how to open a TC editor and how to write. And we have seen the first basic program, that is hello, how are you, or welcome to C language. That is in the first chapter, first unit. And the second chapter is about variables, constants. The second chapter is about variables, constants, operators, input output statements, and different header files, preprocessor directives, and so on. So in that one, the variable is a name of a memory location to store a value. The variable is a name of a memory location to store a value. And how to declare a variable is data type and variable name. Data type and variable name. So here the data types are three kinds: basic data types, and derived data types, and user defined data types. So we have seen some programs on basic data types. So the basic data types are integer, character, and float. The basic data types are integer, character, and float. Here in the integer, to store the integer values like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. And the float for fractional numbers, and the character for to store only a single character. And then we have seen some programs, that is the addition of two numbers. In that we have seen the arithmetic operator and expression, how the expressions are evaluated, that is from left to right or right to left, and operator precedence is also there. There are many different types of operators are there: unary operator, binary operator, and ternary operator. Unary operator, binary operator, and ternary operator. There are some different kinds of operators. So increment, decrement, conditional operator, different types of assignment operators, relational. General operators are arithmetic, relational, and logical operators, bitwise operators. All these operators we have seen, and I have explained to you some programs on operators also. Some programs on operators. I have explained to you some programs on operators. So, and how to declare a constant, and input output statements. Input and output statements. So that is, input output statements means how to read data, how to take the input from the user into a C program. So that is with the help of scanf function. That is with the help of scanf function. And how to display output on the monitor. That is with the help of printf function. Scanf function and printf function. Here these two function definitions are available in stdio.h header file. stdio.h header file. There are so many header files for different purposes. The header file is called as a preprocessor directive that we have to use with hash symbol, that is hash include and the name of the header file, and no semicolon for it, and no semicolon. We should not write semicolon to a header file. We should not write semicolon to a header file. So here these are all the concepts we have seen in the first and second chapters. These are all the concepts we have seen in the first and second chapters. Now we are entering into this chapter 3. This is the very important chapter. Now we are entering into this chapter 3. This is the very important chapter. That is unit 3, decision making and looping statements. Decision making and looping statements. In that, the chapter name is decision making and looping statements. So in that we will see there are many number of decision making statements and looping statements. So for example, if you want to take any decision in the program, for example, if you want to check whether your age is above 18 or not, it means if above 18, if above 17, that is if your age is 18, then only you are eligible to vote. Like that conditions we learn in this chapter. And the same way, there are different types of looping statements are there. That is, the purpose is if you want to display, if you want to execute a statement many number of times depending upon the condition, for that purpose we use looping statements. Decision making and looping statement. So these decision making statements are used to take the condition. These are called as control statements. These are called as control statements. These are comes under control statement. Generally, the statements in C program are executed one after the other. The flow of control is sequential. So here we have to observe one point. That is, whatever the programs we have seen up to now. So we have executed 4 to 5 programs. That is on constant, additional, arithmetic operator, that is addition of two numbers, and reading input from the keyboard and displaying the output. All these programs have 6 to 7 statements. All these programs have 6 to 7 statements in the main function. These statements are executed one by one. The flow of control in a C program is sequential. The flow of control in a C program is sequential. It means that the statements are executed one after the other. The statements are executed one after the other. Generally, the statements in C program are executed one after the other. The flow of control is sequential. The flow of control is sequential. Here we get the situation. Sometimes we may get the situation where the order of execution of statements has to be changed based on certain conditions. In sometimes we may get the situations where the order of execution of statements has to be changed based on certain condition. So here this statement which affects or change the flow of execution are called control statements. The statements which affect or change the flow of execution are called control statements. The statements which affect or change the flow of execution are called. It means that if you want to take any condition in the program, for example, if you want to check the year is leap year or not, if you want to check a person is eligible to vote or not, if you want to check a biggest number in between two numbers, like that, if you want to check a number is positive or negative or zero, positive or negative or zero, in that situations, in that situation, so we need to write a condition, we need to write a condition in the program, we need to check a condition in the program. Automatically it changes the flow of execution of a program. Automatically it changes the flow of execution of a program. So that is, if a greater than b, if a greater than b means either a is big or b is big, both are not big. It means that either A, the output will be either A is big, or the output will be either B is big. Either A is big or B is big. So like that conditions, like that condition, we check by using this decision statement. We check it by using this decision statements. So automatically it changes the flow of execution of a program. Automatically it changes the flow of execution of a program. Automatically it changes the flow of execution of a program. Here they are classified into the control structures, or the control statements are classified into number 1 branching statements, number 2 iterative statements or loop statements. The control structures are classified into, further the control structures are classified into branching statements, that is iterative statements or loop statements. Branching statements, if else statements, iterative statements or loop statements. So the total control structures, these are used to change the flow of a program. The control structures are used to change the flow of execution. Change the flow of execution of a program. The control structures are used to change the flow of execution of a program. So up to now, whatever the programs we have seen and executed, that is, the statements are executed one by one order. So if you see the program, that is addition of two numbers, the statements are integer a comma b comma c, and the a is equals to 20, b is equals to some 30, c is equals to a plus b, and print the sum is equals to some c. In that program, so the statements are executed one by one in a sequential order. But in case of conditions, writing a condition in a program, so that if you want to check whether the given number is positive or negative, you want to check whether the given number is positive or negative. Or for example, if you have three subjects, if you have attended exam for three subjects, subject 1, subject 2 and subject 3, so how will you check that? if subjects that is greater than or equals to some 14. If you got the subject greater than or equal to 14, then you will be pass, otherwise you will be fail. So like that conditions will be with the help of this control statements. The conditions will be checked with the help of these control statements. The control statements are used to change the flow of execution of a program, are used to change the flow of execution of a program, and these are used to take the decisions in the program. These are used to take the decisions in the program. These are used to take the decisions in the program, like checking conditions, not single condition, multiple conditions, a greater than b and a greater than c. By using the logical operator, we have seen the different types of operators in the second chapter. So in that one, that is logical operators is also there. What is the purpose of a logical operator? What is the purpose of a logical operator? A logical operator, that is and is there, or is there, and not is there. So and logical operator is used to check the conditions like a greater than b and a greater than c. Okay, for example, if you are checking a result, then subject 1 greater than or equals to minimum marks that you have to pass. That is, if for example in the olden days, that is 35 marks. So subject 1 greater than or equals to 35 out of 100, that is subject 1 greater than or equals to 35, and subject 2 greater than or equals to 35, and subject 3 greater than or equals to 35, then the result would be pass, otherwise the result will be fail. So like that conditions, like that condition, checking the condition with the help of relational and logical operators. Okay, the conditions will be checked, the condition will be framed, the conditional expressions will be written in a program with the help of this relational and logical operators. So, and another one, if you want to execute a statement many number of times, if you want to execute a statement many number of times, for example, very simple example, if you want to display your name, if you want to display your name 5 times or 10 times on the output screen, or if you want to display the numbers from 1 to 10, the numbers from 1 to 10. So here this type of programs, here in this type of programs, so here the loops are used, the looping statements are used. There are different types of loops are there. Depending upon the condition, the loops are executed repeatedly. A loop means what? What is the meaning of a loop? Loop is nothing but it's a repetitive. Loop is nothing but it is a repetitive process. Loop is a repetitive structure or repetitive process to execute the statements. The loops are used to execute the statements repeatedly. The loops are used to execute the statements repeatedly until the condition is satisfied. Until the condition is satisfied. So there is a branching statements and there is a looping statements also there. Branching and looping, both statements will comes under in this, both statements will comes under in this chapter. Both statements will come under in this chapter, branching statements and looping statement. So the branching statements are used to check the condition to take the decisions in the program, and the looping statements are iterative statements. Looping statements are used to execute a statement, execute the statements repeatedly, execute the statements repeatedly until the condition is satisfied. Execute the statements repeatedly until the condition is satisfied. So in the C, the following are conditional statements. The following are the conditional statement. The control is transferred on checking the condition. The control is transferred on checking the condition. The conditional statements use relational and logical operators. The conditional statements use relational and logical operator. In C, the following are the conditional statements. In C, the following are the In C, the following are conditional statements. So, if statement, if else statement, if else ladder statement, nested if else statement, or nested if statement. So, here these five are used to check the conditions in the program. These five are used to check the conditions in the program. The conditional statements use relational and logical operators. The conditional statements use relational and logical operators. The control is transferred on checking the condition. Whenever you use the conditional statement, that is decision making statement in a C program, while writing a C program, if you have used decision making statements, then the control is transferred on checking the condition. The control is transferred on checking the condition. The conditional statements use relational and logical operators. The conditional statements uses relational and logical operators. The conditional statements uses relational and logical operators, that is A greater than B, A less than B, A greater than B, and A greater than C, A greater than B, and A greater than C, like that single condition or multiple condition or a series of conditions. Single conditions or multiple conditions or a series of conditions. Series of conditions. Okay, so the conditional statements is called as the if statement. Here the if statement is used to check the conditions in the program. The if statement is used to check the conditions in the program. The if statement is used to check the conditions in the program. So the if is called as a conditional statement to check the conditions. To check the condition. If, just observe the meaning of if a greater than b, then the result will be this. If a less than b, if a greater than 0, if a greater than or equals to 18, if a greater than or equals to 18, then the output will be different. So here the conditional statements changes the flow of execution process. The conditional statement changes the flow of the execution process of a program. The conditional statement changes the flow of the execution process of a program. Here there is a if statement and there is a switch statement and there is a in the number different types of statements are there. Under the if there are many types of if statements are there. That is, the first one is the simple if, the first one is the simple if, and the next one is the if else statement, and the third one is the if else ladder statement, and the fourth one is the nested if else statement. So, and then switch statement, So I will explain each and every type of if statement with example programs. With example programs, I will explain each and every if statement with an example program on it. So here simple if else statement, if else ladder statement, nested if else statement. Simple if statement, if else statement, if else ladder statement, nested if statement, and that is switch statement. So here the simple if used to check the conditions in the program. The simple if is used to check the conditions in the program. Executes group of statements if condition is true. Skip them if condition is false. Skip them if condition is false. Used to check the conditions in the program. Executes a group of statements. Executes a group of statements if condition is true. Skip them if the condition is false. The syntax of simple if, this is called as a simple if statement. The syntax of the simple if statement is if condition, if the condition is true, the condition is true, then the below statements under the if are executed. Then the below statements under the if are executed. Otherwise it skips the condition, it skips the execution of the statements under the below if statement, and the control moves to the other than if blocks, that is the next to the if block. And whatever this one if condition, this is the flower brackets again, this is the again flower brackets, left flower bracket and right flower bracket, left flower bracket and right flower bracket. See here, left and right, it means that this is a block of statements under this if, this is a block of statements under the if condition, under this if condition. And next, this is statements, this is not related to this. If the condition is satisfied, only the below statements which are under if are executed. If this condition is satisfies, if this condition is satisfies, only the below statements under the if are executed. If the condition is true, then below statements under if are executed, under if are executed. The below statements are not true, the below statements are not true, then it changes the flow of execution, it skips from the if block, the control skips from the if block, that is executing the if block, the control is skipped from executing this if block, and it goes to the next statements, it goes to the next statement, executing the next statement. The control moves to the execution of next statement, that is out of this if block, that is out of this if block. So here the if is a decision making statement, the if is a decision making statement. So the if statement is used to check the conditions in the program, the if statement is used to check the conditions in the program, used to check the conditions in the program. It executes group of statements if condition is true, it executes group of statements if condition is true, it skips them if the condition is false, it skips them the condition is false. Generally the syntax of if statement is if condition, here no semicolon, just observe here, if the condition, no semicolon here, don't put, don't write, we should not write semicolon here, we should not write semicolon here, okay. So then flower brackets, then flower brackets, that is if condition, the condition is true, the condition is true, then the statements under this if, then the statements under this if block is executed, then the statements under the if block is executed, if condition, statements and close. If the condition is false, for example the condition is false, so general condition, if you are checking whether the given number is positive or negative, for example if you are checking a condition that is given number is positive or negative, in that one you have entered a value that is -5, the user entered a value that is -5, it means that it is a negative number, it is a negative number, means it does not belongs to, it means that it is not greater than 0, then in that situation the control skips from the executing the control skips from executing this if block, the control skips from executing this if block, and the next statements after the if block, after the if block, whatever the statements that are available after the if block, that will be executed, that will be executed. And we have to note one point, that is we should not write semicolon here, we should not write semicolon here. So that is the important point, that is the important point, we should not write semicolon after this if condition, after this if condition. Then flowchart, flowchart. So this is the flowchart of if statement, observe this one, this is the flowchart of if statement. Just observe this flowchart of if statement. If conditional statement, this is the symbol for condition, this is the symbol for condition, and this is true. If this condition is true, if this condition is true, the statements under this if are executed. Here this is the condition. If this condition is true, the statements under the if are executed. And then if this is false, the condition is false. The condition is false, the control moves to the next statement. The control moves to the next statement. If it is true only, the statements under the if are executed. If it is true only, the statements under the if are executed. Otherwise, the control moves to the next statement. This is the flowchart of simple if statement. This is the flowchart of a simple if statement. Just observe this, see this one, see this flow chart, observe the pointer, observe the control, where it is moving. If the condition is true, the condition is true, the condition is true, then the if statement is executing. Otherwise, if statement is not executing. I will show you one example by writing a program on this simple if statement. I want to check whether the given number is negative or positive. I want to check whether the given number is negative or positive. Whether the given number is negative or positive. So I am writing this document as section example on simple if statement. Example on simple if statement. Hash include stdio.h void main. Always keywords display in white color. Here I am declaring a variable int a or int number and clear screen function to erase the previous output, and I am writing printf. I am asking the user to enter any number through this program. This /n is a new line character. Scanf %d because the number is an integer variable, and address operator ampersand. A number is received from the user and stored in a variable num. Now I want to check. See here, if is also displaying in a white color, means it is also a keyword. It is also a keyword. If number greater than 0, if number greater than 0, the output should be positive number. The output should be positive number. If number less than 0, then the output is negative number. Negative number. Close this one, save this file. Yes, if simple if sif.c, that is simple if, that is simple if. So see this program: integer number, clear screen, printf enter any number, scanf %d ampersand number. If number greater than 0, then print positive number. If number less than 0, print negative number. It means that it produces the output either positive or negative. It produces the output either positive number or negative number, but it cannot give both the numbers, that is positive and negative. Okay, so compile this program and check the errors if any. So here no errors, no errors are there, no errors are there. So it means compilation is successful, means that the compilation is successful. Compilation is successful. Then press any key and go to run this program, run menu and run this program. So I am giving a number called which is 6. Just expect the output. What output it display? Expect the output, what output it would display. Let's see the output by pressing Alt F5. It's a positive number. It is a positive number. Yes, the 6 is a positive number. The 6 is a positive number. So that only it is displaying it is a positive number. The 6 is a positive number. So that only it is displaying positive number. Once again, I want to execute this program. I am not again compiling the program, just I am executing the program by pressing Ctrl F9. By pressing Ctrl F9. Now I am giving -3 as input. Now I am giving -3 as an input. As an input. Now see the result. So it is showing negative number. It is showing negative numbers. It means that either if num greater than 0 means either it prints a positive number as output or else it prints a negative number as output, but it won't print positive as well as negative, positive as well as negative, because if the condition is true only, the condition is true only, it executes the statements which are under if block. The condition is true only, it executes the statements which are under if block. The condition is false only, it executes the statements which are under other. If the condition is true only, the statements which executes under the if block, otherwise it skips to next to the if block, otherwise it skips the control next to the if block, next to the if block. Now see this one, this is the flow chart. The if is called as a decision making statement. The if is called as a decision making statement. Decision making statement. It is a simple if statement. It is a simple if statement used to check the conditions in the program. Like that we can write any number of programs. For example, if you want to check whether a person is eligible to vote or not, you can write if a greater than 17 or a greater than or equals to 18, a greater than 17 or a greater than or equals to 18, then the condition will be satisfied if the user enter that is 20. For example, the person age is 20, then the condition is satisfied. Like that, we can also write a program if the given number is even or odd. If the given number is even number or odd number. Even number or odd number. Like that, we can write number of programs, and I will explain more number of programs in the coming videos. That is simple if else, if else ladder, and nested if statements in detail in the coming videos. Thank you.